Hello students, in this lesson we'll study about the railway station yards and its types. So this is how your station yard will look, right? See here, you observe this entire portion is nothing but your station yard. So these are all the components of a station yard. All these things will come under your station yard. So railway tracks where the train will stop, platform shelters, underground passages if there are any, slidings, bumpers, suburban communicator road rail if any, right, communicator train, crossings, main lines, footbridge, passenger station, parking, station platform, any signals, right? And signal gantry, different types of crossings, switches, right? Diesel shop, all this will come under your station yard. This everything together is called as a station yard. So what exact is the definition of the station yard? So it's a system of tracks, within prescribed limit on a railway station over which movement of trains are not authorized by the timetable. So there is no timetable for the movement of trains which are there here onto different tracks. So without any timetable, whenever there is requirement, you can move them from one place to another. So that particular entire prescribed region will come under your station yard. So it is are provided in important stations like your junction stations. We have already studied about stations, right? So in junction stations, terminal stations, so majorly in junction stations and terminal stations, we give station yards so that receiving, storing, cleaning, repairing, sorting, making up trains, dispatch of trains and other such purposes can be carried out in these two particular types of stations. Okay, and the movement of train in station yard is controlled by certain rules and regulations and signals which are provided separately in the yards. Right, those will not come under the whole length of your railway track. They will come only in the stations and these are separately provided in the yards. Okay, so this is the basic intro about your station yards. So there are basically four types of station yards. The first one is the passenger bogie yard, second one goods yard, third one marshalling yard, and the fourth one is the locomotive yard. So these are the four types. We will see one by one what each type of yard will consist of. Actually the names itself are indicating, right? This is for passengers, this is for goods, this is for locomotive. Locomotive is nothing but train, right? Marshalling, the name doesn't indicate, but we will see in detail what each type is and what are the requirement of each type moving further. So the first one is what? The passenger bogie yard. Why is this provided? Why is this type of yard provided? For safe movement of passengers and bogies. That's why it's called as passenger bogie yard. So yards which provide facilities for safe movement of passenger bogies are known as what? Passenger bogie yard, or sometimes they are just called as passenger yards. So these yards are of specific importance, especially at the journey again in junction and terminal station. So we have to provide passenger bogie yards both in what? In your junction stations as well as your terminal stations. So where extra passenger bogies are to be accommodated and their cleaning, washing and storing is also done. So it's very important to provide the passenger bogie yards. There are some requirements which need to be satisfied by a passenger bogie yards. Let us see one by one. So I will put them under the heading of requirements. If in case we say that we are providing a passenger bogie yard, what all should be there in this yard is nothing but what will come under the requirements. So let's list one by one. First one is the passenger platform. So for the passengers to stay or get down from the train or go up to the train, right, travel from one bogie to another bogie, we need what? Passenger platform. Then what we need? Space for parking of vehicles outside the station. So people come through vehicles, right? They want to park, so that space should be given. Next, signals for up and down of train. Signals for both up and down of. Up means, suppose we take this as up direction, going in this direction, this will be the down direction. So to move up and down from one place to another, we need signals. So that should be there. Then facilities for passing through train at full speed without any interference. should also be given in the passenger bogie yard. Say for example, there is a train which is not stopping at that particular yard, so there should be facility so that it can freely in full speed without any interference pass that particular yard. Okay, so that should be given. We will put it as facility for passing through at full speed without any interference. Okay, this should be provided. Then there should be sufficient number of slidings so that extra trains which are there can go onto the slidings and stand there when they are not at use. Okay, so sufficient number of slidings should be there so that for extra bogies. So after detaching from main trains, what can happen? Those train can be kept there unless they are again attached to a different train. That's why slidings are very much important in the passenger bogie yards. Right. Then what else we need? We need shunting lines, washing lines, right? Sick lines, charging of battery lines, right? As well as we need what? Your ticket booking counter or office you can say. Then we need a clock room for storage of what luggages and restrooms. All these things we need. Any refreshments. These are the basic requirements which has to be there in your passenger bogie yard. So hope you have understood details about the passenger bogie yard. Move to the next one. Next one is your goods yard. The second one is your goods yard. So here what will happen? You will give or provide facilities for receiving, loading, unloading and delivery of goods. So this is specially for goods. Okay. So what we do here, we provide facilities for receiving, loading, unloading and delivery of goods and the movement of wagons. So where exactly this type are provided? The passenger yards, we saw that they are provided at junction and terminal stations, right? Now your goods yard will normally be provided in your halt or flag stations where there will be no movement of passenger. We just use these stations for what? Making the vehicle or the train stand for some time when it is not required. So that particular stations we need to give goods yard, right? Again, now goods yard has certain requirements. So let us see what are those requirements. Okay, requirements of goods yard. So first one is what? Goods platform. For what? This is for loading and unloading of your goods. It is required. Then approach road. From that road the vehicles can come to unload the goods or to take the goods away, like the movement of truck, buses, all should be possible. And there should be ramp also, because you cannot lift goods, so there should be a ramp which is connecting to your railway station from the approach road, because to make the easy movement of the goods, that should be there, right? Next, third one will be what? Gathering lines should be there. Gathering line from main line or loop line, there should be number of parallel lines with dead end slidings, so that you can gather the goods at different places. Very important, because you have to unload, load, lot of goods will be there, so that is very important, the gathering lines. Next, there should be cranes. Suppose there are very heavy goods which have come, so for loading and unloading of heavy goods we require what? We require cranes. So heavy goods, let us write so that we can remember. Then what? Weigh bridge should be there. So for example, if a coal is being transferred from one place to another, if there is weigh bridge, we can check how much exactly was loaded and how much exactly we have got. So we need the weigh bridges for weighing of wagons and the carts. Okay. Then loading gauges should be there. Loading gauge, so which will help you check the height of the load. Okay, height of the load when you are filling them. Weigh bridge as well as weigh machine should also be there. For small loads we will need weighing machine, so that also should be there. As well as a booking office should be there, right? Booking office also is important, because we have to book goods, no, from which place we want to send till where we want to send. So for that reason a booking office should be there. And lastly, sufficient number of godowns also should be there, so that your goods are stored. Sufficient number of godowns should be there. So these are the requirements of your goods yard. Marshaling yards. Now what are these yards? These yards are where the trains and other loads are received, sorted out station wise, and new trains are formed and dispatched onwards. Okay, so they are basically like, these are not for passengers or for your goods. Here, the new trains will come, they will get sorted out station wise and they will be dispatched towards whichever station they have to go, right? So these are your marshalling yard. Let us write down what are these yards where trains and other loads are received, sorted out. How will the sorting happen? Sorting will happen station wise. Okay, so received, sorted out, new trains are formed, and then the dispatching will happen towards their respective places. So this type of yards are called what? Your marshalling yards. So in marshalling yards, mainly what will happen, loaded and empty goods or wagons will come first from different lanes for booking to different destinations they will go. Okay, then these wagons are separated, sorted and dispatched in full trains for each lane. Now while making full trains, the wagons are arranged in order of the station so that they can be detached conveniently at the required station. For example, there are 10 bogies, 2 has to go in the first station, then the other 2 has to go in the next station, then the other 5 has to go in the next station. Like that, what will happen? First station where they want to remove, no, that will be in the last. Like that, in order they will be arranged and then they will be sent. Okay, so what are the main functions of marshalling yard? So the first one is what? Receiving or reception of empty as well as what? Loaded wagons. Then once they are received, what will we do? We will do the sorting of wagons. Wagons are nothing but your bogies, okay? Then what they'll do? They will do the departure or dispatch the entire train. So dispatch of wagons in the form of trains. So these are the main functions. So if you see the diagram, you will come to know this is how it will look. Okay, the overall picture, this is how it will look. See here, this is the main line, right? Here is your reception siding. Whenever you receive it, here they will come. Then these are sick or sorting sidings. See, these are all sorting sidings. They will sort out here, and then there is a departure siding here. So from where they will be departed and they will go. So along with all this, you will have ash pit, loco sheds, then coal deposits, then turntables so that they can change the direction, right? So this is how your marshalling yard will look. Normally their construction is very costly, be it construction or maintenance. Both are costly. So what they will do, only at important junctions, this or wherever distribution centers are required, only there your marshalling yards will be given. Okay, so one of the disadvantage of marshalling yard is what? The costly construction and maintenance of these yards. There are some more disadvantages. Okay, one is the costly construction and maintenance, and that's why what will happen, we will give it only at important junctions and important distribution centers, right? Along with this, there might be delay in transit, right? And damage is caused to wagons while shunting. So whenever you are removing and replacing your wagons, damage might cause to these particular wagons. Then traffic congestion will be there. If lot of wagons are coming at one time, there is a lot of congestion that will be occurring in the especially receiving slidings. There will be a lot of traffic congestion. So these are all your drawbacks. So in order to overcome these drawbacks, we have to take care of shutting operations, and sorting of wagons should be maximum in a minimum possible time. So as much as possible, we should do it fast and in a minimum possible time, and separate up inward entry and separate outward entry should be there. Some transit platforms should be there, like various facilities like water column, ash pit, coal stock, weighing bridges, all should be there, and they should all be properly positioned. All the portions should be properly positions, and there should be options for further extension of these type of yards also. So these are all the important criteria which we have to take care, so that the disadvantages of the marshalling yards are overcome. Now these marshalling yards are of three types. Okay, how many types? Three types. The first one is your flat yards, the second one is your gravitational yards, and the third one is your hump yards. Now what are flat yards? So these yards are laid down horizontal ground, and the entire space of the yard is almost on the same level. Okay, so what we can right? They are on the horizontal ground or same level throughout, let us write, throughout the yard. So in its case, all the sorting work and movement of wagons are carried out by means of engines. We compulsory need engines. Okay. Normally we provide these type of yards where there is space restriction. So if you have space restriction only, you have to go for these types, because here movement will happen only through engines, right? Second one is the gravitation yard or gravity yard, it is called as. So here the tracks are laid in a gradient. Okay, in a gradient, so that the wagons can move on their own with the help of gravity. So writing it as gradient is enough, right? So the surface is made on certain gradient, so that movement of wagons will be easily done only using the action of gravity. Because we are using gravity, we will not need any engines for the movement of your wagons. So this can be possible only if the topography where we want to give the marshalling yards are in such a way that we can do it. But most of the yards might not permit for us to form these type of yards. So only if the topography is applicable or suitable, we can go for this type of yards. Right. And the last one being the hump yard. So in this type, what they'll do is a hump or summits or artificial hills are constructed at the entrance. See here you can see, right? So like this, we will give certain hump like this. When the bogies go like this, and when you're releasing it, this gradient will try to make the train easily move. So what we give at the entrance, humps or summits. Summits is nothing but peaks, right? Or artificial hills. So we construct these at the entrance of the slidings. So the wagons are pushed upon a hump by the engine, and then they are allowed to move into the sliding down the hump under the action of gravity. So basically we are creating that type of topography. The desirable up and down gradient for effective working will be, say if you want to go for a up gradient and down gradient, this will be in the range of 1:150 or 1:175, and this will be in the range of 1:50 or 1:150, and then slowly this will change to 1:300. So here we will give the hump level. So this is your hump level. So modern practice is to use what? Hump yards, as the shunting operations can be done more quickly than your flat and gravitational yards. Okay, so these are economical and also will have less operational cost, and the power required for the movement of wagons also will be less. Okay, so hence among the marshalling yards, hump yards are the best suitable ones to use. Okay, so this is all about your marshalling yards. Coming to the last type of yard, this is your locomotive yard. Now what happens here? This is the place where the facilities for cooling, watering, repair, oiling and cleaning of your, basically service and maintenance of your locomotives will happen. Locomotives nothing but what? Your trains, right? So yards where all the facilities for cooling, watering, repairing, oiling, cleaning, etc. are provided for what? For the service and maintenance of locomotives. Right, these yards are constructed at junction stations. Normally, this will be present on the same side of your marshalling yards. If there are any marshalling yards, on the same side of the marshalling yards only, we have to provide the locomotive yards. Right, now these type of yards also have certain requirements. Now what are the requirements? They should be placed very near to your passenger yards or good yards, or on the same side of your marshalling yards. So located near, right? Then all possible facilities should be given. Okay, all facilities like what? Like your ash pits, running lines, loco sheds, right? Turntables, ash pits here if you observe. Then stores, offices, workshops should be there. Stores, offices, workshops should be there. Some examination and repair center should be there to examine your trains, right? So all these things should be there, and there should be all possibility for the space should be there for future extension if there is any expansion which is happening. So there should be place for future expansion, water supply, drainage, right? Everything should be there. Normally this type of locomotive yards are also called as just loco yards. Okay, they may be rectangular or circular in shape. So this type of yards will be either rectangular or circular in their constructed shape. Okay, so these are about your yards and type of yards. Hope you have understood it. Thank you.